Hey Sublime Society! Welcome back to another episode of our podcast. I'm really glad you're here today because we're diving into a topic that's both important and close to my heart: how to help a struggling friend. Life can be tough sometimes, and even the strongest of us need a little support every now and then. Whether your friend is going through emotional turmoil, feeling overwhelmed by school, dealing with family issues, or just struggling to cope with life's pressures, being there for them in the right way can make a huge difference. So, let's get into how you can be the best possible friend during tough times. So, let's start with something that can often be tricky: recognizing when a friend is struggling. Now, not everyone is going to come out and say, "Hey, I'm really having a hard time right now." In fact, a lot of people might do the opposite. They'll try to put on a brave face and act like everything's fine. That's why it's important to be aware of the signs that something might be off. Maybe you notice that your friend is withdrawing from activities they usually enjoy, or they're not as talkative or cheerful as they usually are. Perhaps they're more irritable or seem to be isolating themselves. These can all be signs that your friend is dealing with something difficult, even if they haven't told you about it directly. But here's the thing: how do you approach them without making it awkward or making them feel like they're being interrogated? The key is empathy. Approach them with kindness, and let them know you're there to support them without any pressure. You might say something like, "Hey, I've noticed you seem a little down lately. Is everything okay?" Or, "I'm here if you ever want to talk about anything." Notice how these questions are open-ended and non-judgmental. You're not assuming anything, you're just offering a safe space for them to share if they want to. Sometimes, just knowing that someone cares enough to notice can be a big relief. Now, let's say your friend does open up to you. First of all, that's a big deal. It takes a lot of trust to share personal struggles with someone, so it's important to handle that conversation with care. The most crucial thing you can do in that moment is to listen. And I mean really listen. Put away distractions, yes, that means your phone, and give them your full attention. This isn't the time to jump in with solutions or advice unless they specifically ask for it. Sometimes, what a person needs most is simply to be heard. They need to know that their feelings are valid and that someone is there to support them. You can show that you're engaged by nodding, maintaining eye contact, and using affirming phrases like, "I'm so sorry you're going through this," or "That sounds really tough." These small gestures can make a world of difference, helping your friend feel understood and less alone. But what if the situation seems more serious? Maybe your friend is dealing with something like depression, anxiety, or any other mental health issue. It's important to know that you're not expected to have all the answers. You're not a therapist, and that's okay. What you can do, however, is encourage your friend to seek professional help. This can be a sensitive topic, so approach it gently. You might say something like, "Have you thought about talking to a counselor or therapist? They might be able to help in ways that we can't." Or, "There's no shame in getting help from a professional, it could really make a difference for you." Encourage them to talk to a trusted adult, a school counselor, or even look into therapy if that's an option for them. Sometimes, just knowing that there are resources available can be empowering. And don't forget, seeking help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Reinforce this idea to your friend. Let them know that it's okay to not have everything figured out and that reaching out for help is a positive and brave step. Another thing I want to touch on is the importance of setting boundaries. I know you want to be there for your friend, and that's amazing. But it's also crucial to take care of your own mental and emotional well-being. Supporting someone who is struggling can be emotionally draining, especially if you're the only person they're leaning on. It's okay to acknowledge your own limits. You might need to take a step back sometimes, and that's perfectly fine. It doesn't mean you care any less, it just means you're taking care of yourself, too. Encourage your friend to build a broader support system. They don't have to, and shouldn't, rely on just one person. Help them see that there are other friends, family members, or professionals they can turn to, and remember, it's okay to say, "I'm here for you, but I think it might also help to talk to someone else who can support you too." This way, you're ensuring that both you and your friend have the support you need. Alright, let's talk about some practical ways you can offer support. Sometimes, the best way to help is just by being there, literally. You don't always have to have deep, heart-to-heart conversations. Sometimes, just hanging out, going for a walk, or watching a movie together can provide the comfort your friend needs. It's about creating a space where they feel safe and supported without the pressure to talk about their problems unless they want to. If your friend is stressed about school or work, you can offer to help them with practical tasks. Maybe you can study together, help them organize their notes, or just be there to motivate them. If they're feeling overwhelmed by life in general, even small gestures like running an errand for them or helping them clean their space can be incredibly helpful. And don't underestimate the power of small acts of kindness. A simple text checking in on them, a note left in their locker, or bringing them their favorite snack can show that you're thinking of them. These little things can make a big impact, reminding your friend that they're not alone and that someone cares about them. I also want to emphasize the importance of patience. When someone is struggling, they might not bounce back quickly. They might have good days and bad days, and that's okay. What's important is that you're there for the long haul, showing consistent support. Sometimes, just knowing that you're not going to disappear after one conversation can give your friend the reassurance they need. It's also important to be patient with yourself. Helping a struggling friend can be challenging, and it's okay to feel unsure or even frustrated at times. Remember, you're doing the best you can, and that's enough. You don't have to have all the answers or solutions. Your presence, your care, and your willingness to listen are more valuable than you might realize. As we start to wrap up, I want to leave you with a few key takeaways. First, be mindful of the signs that your friend might be struggling, and approach them with empathy and care. Offer a listening ear without judgment, and encourage them to seek professional help if needed. Set boundaries to protect your own well-being. And remember that it's okay to take care of yourself, too. Support your friend through small acts of kindness and by simply being there. And finally, be patient with them and with yourself. Supporting a friend who is struggling is a journey, not a one-time act. But by being there consistently, you're showing them that they're not alone, and that can make all the difference. Before we close out, I just want to remind you that you're not alone in this either. If you're ever unsure about how to help your friend, don't hesitate to reach out to someone who might have more experience, like a trusted adult, a teacher, or a counselor. It's okay to ask for advice or to get support for yourself as you help your friend. Thanks so much for joining me on today's episode of the Sublime Society Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please consider sharing it with someone who might need it. And as always, feel free to leave a comment or message me with your thoughts, experiences, or any topics you'd like to hear about in future episodes. We're all in this together, and your input means the world to me. Stay strong, stay supportive, and as always, stay sublime.